In a Los Angeles courtroom, Lyle and Eric Menendez are on trial for allegedly killing their millionaire parents 4 years ago. First, they deny the charges. Now they say they acted in self-defense after years of abuse. But why do people kill their parents? Well, we've asked Dr. Joyce Brothers to join us for a look at a crime most of us think as unthinkable. Good morning. Nice to have you with us
Good
this
morning.
The Menendez case seems to be the case that's getting the most attention now, but we've probably heard about 5 or 6 of these cases in the last 8 or 9 months on a national level. Are these kind of crimes becoming more common?
Juvenile crime has not really escalated, but the violence in juvenile crime has. And parricide is really very rare, about 2% of murders. But it horrifies us and it fascinates us because in every family, there's been a time when the child fantasizes, I'm going to get rid of this person. And the parent is very angry with the child because, in a sense, the opposite side of the coin of love is not hate, it's indifference. So there are moments when the fantasy is there, but we know that it's never going to happen.
Is that fantasy that common?
It's a common fantasy because little ones want what they want when they want it, but they learn how to defer gratification. They learn how to defer and get along. They learn how to put it into words. Hamlet stabbed his mother with words which were like daggers to her. And when you learn to verbalize and adjust to differences of opinion or very strict parenting or sometimes even abusive parenting, then you grow out of it. But there are 3 kinds of kids who kill their parents. One kind is severely mentally ill, and they hear voices and have hallucinations, and they tell them to kill.
So that's a pretty easy predictor of someone who might be inclined to this kind of behavior.
Well,
what about the other 2 types?
Actually, mentally ill people are less likely to murder than others, but there are some, and it's a rare kind of thing.
What about the other 2 types?
There are others who are so abused that they learn to be helpless. There's a learned helplessness. And it reaches a critical mass where they can't take it anymore, either because they consider, and it's usually the oldest child, that oldest child considers that he or she must protect the others or protect the other parent, and they see no other way out. And so there's a critical mass. And when the killing happens, it's when the parent is helpless, asleep, watching television, not actually physically abusing the child when they get enough courage. And often there is a kind of an overkill. If they shoot, and it's usually shooting because that is at a distance you don't have to contact, they overkill, shoot many more times than necessary to kill the person out of the fear. There's also a 3rd kind, and these are the sociopaths who have no feeling of remorse, no feeling of concern for other people, no conscience, no anything. And for them, anything can trigger the situation.
How many are there out there of what you described as a sociopath?
Perhaps about a 3rd of kids who kill their parents for no reason at all, or silly reasons in our terms. There have been cases, for example, where a child has been taken the family car to school and the parent is scolded and been killed by the child, or a parent has accused the child of stealing and slapped the child, and that has resulted in a killing.
Getting back to the Menendez case, could you make any, help us understand this morning when we look at the spending spree that followed both the killing of the mother and father, and what would explain that? And why did both the mother and father get killed?
Well, first of all, the spending spree could be one of 2 things. It could be, now I have the money and it's mine and I'm going to treat myself as I have not been treated before, but it could be the other side of the coin. It could be grief and remorse, and sometimes when people feel enormous remorse, feel enormous grief, they try to assuage it by buying things, thinking that somehow or other they're going to assuage that grief. In some ways, for example, when somebody loses someone they love very dearly, they will sometimes go on a sexual spree or buying spree.
It still, though, is very unusual to kill both the mother and father.
Very unusual to have both killed.
Dr. Joyce Brothers. 23 minutes after the hour.